You can barely see it, but by my van tire, there's the baby bunny. He's hiding. Right there he is. You can barely see him. He's so small. He doesn't know he's there yet. Come on, let's go. Say hi to your grandkid. And see how long it takes for him to move. He's so small. Luffy, he's right there, you dummy. He's up there. He goes. There he goes. One bark, huh? All right. One bark, because that's the only goal that Vegas is going to get tonight. Two. Wait. Hey, shut up. Stop scoring.
You ready? Here we go. They did it. I don't believe it.
Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go. Go.
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1.
Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go. Go.
Alright, Panther fans, let's do this. Game 2 Stanley Cup Final. Enough is enough is enough. I talked about this in the podcast today. We haven't won in Vegas and we haven't won a Stanley Cup Final game. And it's time. It's time. Enough is enough. Now, this last game, I saw a lot of different varying opinions on a lot of things. Not even going to dig any deeper into that. These guys are going to need to pick it up. Alright? Just play a little bit harder. A little bit faster. A little bit smarter, Chucky. Just a little bit. Alright? We've talked about that. It's very important to play on the line, on that edge, but not over it. Now, Chucky's face wash, yeah, it was over the edge, but, you know, at that point, the game's 4-2. I understand frustration setting in, not a good excuse. At the same point, the backhanded attempt at clearing, which led to the 4th goal, not a good look. But we need to put all that behind us, because it's just the game. And like I always say, Game 1 doesn't mean anything until after Game 2. I feel good about this one, though, okay? I know it doesn't sound like it, but I'm being, how can I put this? I'm taking Nerful's advice and not getting ahead of myself and being cocky and confident about it too much. I still expect us to win in 6. We're going to need a better effort from Bob. Now, I've seen some people really ripping Bob. Give me a break here, okay? The Marchessault goal and the Stone goal, both of them, dead to rights, right in front, okay? And then Duke just totally screened them on the 3rd goal. And let's not pretend now, because you can take what Adin Hill did on either hand. You could say the dude made some amazing saves, and he did. And on the other hand, Barkov beat him over his shoulder and hit the crossbar. Kachuk beat him over his shoulder and hit the post. It'd be a completely different narrative if one of those goals, if not both, go in. But the thing I'll say here is that Bob is always Bubba. Let's call him by his right name, Bubba. Bubba. Bubba has always reacted to the pressure well. And what I'm meaning by that is every time Spencer Knight looked like he was going to take the net, Bob responded by coming out like a bat out of hell and playing out of his mind. I suspect the fact that Bob was Bubba Bob. The fact that Bubba Bob was being asked about Adin Hill in the last post game, I wouldn't be surprised if he just takes that a little bit personal and we see Vezina Bob again tonight. All right, Panthers need to just come out hardcore and just don't stop. Take our first 10 minutes from Game 1 and play 60 that way, and let's get home even. It's 2-0 Vegas after 1. I've taken off the Beezer shirt because clearly isn't working. Now, not that this team can hear me, and by the time this is even being played, the game is over. But I'm just going to say right here in this moment, right now, that first period of play, that's the Matthew Tkachuk that the Calgary Flames fans warned us about. Now, he may come back in these next two periods and play the hero, and we get out of here 1-1. But right now, he's giving up on plays, he's coasting, and he's just making himself a nuisance in ways that doesn't need to be. It's not just him. If there's a loose puck, Vegas is getting to it first. Now, before the game started, I saw this clip from Kolazar. He was mic'd up, and he was saying they don't want it. They don't want it. None of those guys want it bad enough. Right now, that statement is accurate. Right now, that statement is accurate. This is not. Don't get me wrong. Vegas is talented. But what's happening out there on the ice is only partially a result of Vegas's talent and more a result of, I believe, this team just thought they were just that good. It took 3 rounds for the Panthers to think that they were the big bad Bruins that nobody could knock off. We're going to learn a lot about this hockey team in the second period. We're going to learn a lot about this coach, our captain, and Tkachuk. We're going to learn a lot about this team in the second period. Let's move on. It's 4-0 Vegas after 2. I'm going to save it for the post game. What did I say at the end of the last period? Jesus, what did I say? We're going to learn a lot about this team in the second period. Yeah, I believe that's what I said. Just finish the game and don't get me wrong, not giving up. I mean, this game is not giving up on the series, but I can think of about 10 players just off the top of my head that need a serious attitude adjustment. So, I'm glad I saved it for the post game because it didn't get any better. 7-2 Vegas. Now, before I even get started with the recap, just going to say that there is a group of Leaf fans that continued to make fake accounts and spam the N-word in my chat to the point where I had to make the chat subscriber only. And I had to tell my mods to have 0 tolerance. So if you got muted or banned tonight and you feel you don't deserve it, email me at flyingfluffyhockey@gmail.com. I will look and see what it is that happened. But from now on, my live streams are going to be subscriber. The chat will be subscriber only. Or at least, yeah. Okay. So, the long pause, silence, and the heavy sigh is because I can't think of anything that there isn't to talk about. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is, please, I am not blaming anything on any one player. But as I go down the list of players and positions, I'm not blaming it all on one thing. It's all of it. Let's not pretend that Bob is the same goalie he was even in the end of the season. Was he bad? I mean, wasn't terrible in game one. Tonight, I have to look at the replays. I mean, we're just leaving guys wide open in front of the net. And while, yes, Vegas is doing a lot of the same things and Hill is making the saves, expecting Bob to stay at the level he was, well, we see where that's getting us. Now, in game one, we should have learned some things. We clearly didn't. Now, before I go off on the rest of this, it's only 2-0. We still have 2 games at home. You win game 3, you have a chance in game 4 to get this thing situated. But I haven't seen anything that tells me these guys can win a game. Not these last 2 games. Tkachuk has completely reverted to every bad caricature that we heard of about him. Everything that we were warned about, or at least that I was warned about when we got him, all of it amplified by 10 in these last 2 games. Again, not blaming it all on him. Barkov has actually looked pretty decent. I mean, nobody's looking great, but Barkov is not our issue. Verhaeghe's taking shots, puck won't go in. Duke, same thing. The Bennett, Tkachuk, Cousins line is not dealing with the fact that they are not going to intimidate Vegas. They have not figured out what we should have figured out in game 1 was, oh, we're going to have to use our skill. We're not going to intimidate them to backing down like we did Toronto. Not really so much with Carolina, but Bob was just so out of his mind against Carolina. But none of that is true now. We are going to have to use our skill. And if we lose, we lose. But what we're doing now is losing badly. And I don't just mean by the score. We are trolling ourselves. We're trolling ourselves. What we did to Toronto especially, we're doing to ourselves because we're trying to play this brand of hockey, and the more that it's not working, the more we keep trying it. The oddity, the craziness, the absurdity of it all is that right now we could use a little bit of that run and gun. We could. Because running around and just aimlessly, arbitrarily, and wildly hitting guys is not working. It didn't work at game 1. And I know Maurice had the cutesy pie soundbite that everybody liked, myself included. Ah, relax. Everybody effing relax. Well, we see what effing relaxing got us today. That's what we got, was an absolute ass whooping. And it's embarrassing. It's disheartening. I'm disgusted with multiple players and how they're showing up in this moment right now. And more than I want to win the cup, of course I want to win the cup. And of course for the channel it's good. Although it's not as good as you would think. There's so many people. Everybody's making Panther videos right now. So it's not like, you know, we're having new people find the channel, but it's not like, oh wow, there's this one Panther channel and everybody's finding me. Everybody who makes hockey videos is making Panther videos, so it's but why I'm disgusted is because we had just earned some respect. As a franchise, as a team, as a fan base, we had just earned some respect. And in the last 2 games, let's just say some of that respect from the outside is starting to get chipped away at. And all we're going to be left with is how much do we believe? Now, in my preseason preview, I said we were going to start slow and win the cup. And as the season went on, even though it looked bad at times, while on one hand I'm not going to lie and say I kept saying we're going to win the cup, I did say I'm not going to call it impossible until it was impossible. As long as the possibility existed that that prediction could be right, I was going to ride with it. Now, we have about the same percentage of chance to come back and win this series as we did against Boston. And we can talk about all of those parallels, but not playing this way. Not playing this way. Just going down the lineup. Barkov is not our problem. Top line is playing well enough. Tkachuk, Bennett, where's Sam Bennett? What is he doing? Where are these guys? Cousins is actually the most active player I see in that line, with the exception of Tkachuk just running around. I mean, he may as well have some pepper spray and a taser for what he's doing out there on the ice. Every caricature of him, everything that we were warned about, all of the respects, all of the Conn Smythe talk, all of that, everything he's done in the 3 rounds, he's flushing down the toilet in 2 games. So I suppose maybe we should bring plungers to the game on Thursday. And I need the 2 days off. I don't know about you guys, but I need the 2 days off. The Lundell line, I mean, Ryan Lomberger's not Eetu Luosterainen, but we ain't losing this series because Eetu Luosterainen is out. I love the kid. He's a good part of the team, but this has been a collective meltdown. And then we'll look at the defense. What? Well, let me back up. It's not even about the defense. We kept saying this all the other series. Our forecheck is the defense. So before we go throwing the defense completely under the bus, where the fuck is the forecheck? Now, I heard somebody say, I heard it analyzed before the series started, that Vegas is good at handling the forecheck. But we're not even trying. We're not even trying. We're just letting them have zone entries. We're just going to concede that that part of the thing that got us here. We're just going to concede, well, they handle the forecheck pretty well, so we're not going to do it. How's that working out for us? We've given up 12 goals in 2 games. So while the defense is having issues, how much of that is because the forwards aren't doing their damn job? This looks like what we saw early on in the season. The forwards were not forechecking. The forwards were not bad. The forwards were not doing the job defensively. And we looked like ass. Now, Bubba. Okay, let's forget about how he was playing, because that doesn't matter anymore. That doesn't matter anymore. How is he playing now? He's off his angle. He's off his angle. He's off. And when Bob is off, he's bad. Like famously bad. He was so bad in the beginning of the season because he was off that we were, I will say I won't say we. Stu was agreeing with me, but I was talking about how I think Bob is done. I think he gave all the gas he had in the tank. He looked old. He was bad. When Bobrovsky is off of his game, he's like indescribably, insurmountably bad. And that's what he was tonight. A Lion came in. Oh my God. Now, let's just not even have this conversation. Sergei Bobrovsky is starting Game 3. We ain't winning a cup with Alex Lyon. He did an admirable job tonight to come in and try to stem the tide a little bit. But the only chance in hell that we have in this series is Bob getting his ass back out there on the ice and him becoming lights out again. That's the only chance we have. And I won't sit here and say it can't happen. I won't sit here and say that it can't happen. We don't have to go out there and win Game 4, but we do need to win Game 3. You win Game 3? Let's put it this way. In my series preview, I said we'd be down 2-1. And we'd win in 6. Now, I understand that nothing we've seen so far, I understand that. Alright? I get that. But if we win Game 3, doesn't matter if we win it 2-1 and 4 overtimes, we will be where I thought we would be in this series, which is down 2-1 after 3. For those of you who are looking for something positive. Now, we have to win Game 4. But it would be nice to circle back to my point about how we just got some respect. It would be nice if we can win a Stanley Cup game and have it be at home. When we lost to Colorado, the first 2 games went similar to this. And then in Game 3, we had a lead. And we blew the lead and we never scored again. And I remember very clearly, like it was yesterday, that moment of hope in Game 3. We were home now. And we got the lead. And didn't last long. But there was that, hey, maybe. And then Colorado scored. And we all know what happened. Now, I'll say the same thing I've said all year, which is I said we were going to win a cup, and until we can't, I'm going to keep saying we're going to win. The one thing I did say in my series preview was that I thought the difference maker in this series was going to have to be Maurice. I kind of felt like Bob was going to have some drop off. I didn't think it was going to be off of a cliff, but okay, here we are. I didn't think Kachuk was going to be the star either. I thought that Maurice was going to have to do something, figure something out. And the bottom line is that at this point, if we win this series, I don't see any other way other than it being Maurice doing something, some kind of coaching adjustment, something. Now, we lose Gudis tonight to an obvious high hit with no call. I mean, Casey Fitzgerald, I don't know why, in God's name, we keep throwing that kid out there instead of Lucas Carlson or Matt Kiersted. I just don't understand it. When he's been out there, he's been meh at best, and he's made mistakes. I don't understand why, especially now when maybe Coach will do that. It's not like Fitzgerald had a nice night but tonight, you know what I mean? He struggled at times. I mean, Carlson had like 880 freaking goals in the AHL. We could use somebody that might be able to score a goal from the blue line because Brandon Montour's gone cold. Oh. Now, there were people wanting me to come on here and yell and scream and all of that. I mean, for what? All right. As crazy as it sounds, as Cocoa Puffs as it sounds, I still have confidence in this team. Can't get much worse. Let's put it this way. We just got our asses handed to us 7-2. Now, don't forget, Devils had their asses handed to them 2 games in a row and then won the series. But we just had our asses handed to us. We've got messes all over the ice. And we're going home. Now, I don't know exactly what. I don't know exactly how, but just by definition, just by something's going to change. We're not going to go out there game 3, get blown out again. Somehow, some way, whether we're going to blow up lines and move guys all over the place, bench somebody, call up Matt Guzda to put him in there. I mean, there's going to be some, it's going to just, by the sheer definition of what happened tonight, by the sheer consequence of what happened tonight, there will be changes. But I cannot express the level of disappointment that I have that these guys came out and showed up this way. It didn't look good from the first 2 or 3 minutes, you could see Vegas is all over us. And I said this on the stream. I'm not taking anything away from Vegas. They are doing some things, but there's a lot of what's going on out there on the ice that's not what Vegas is doing. And what I mean by that is the loose pucks. We're just not even fighting for them. We're not rushing to the loose pucks. We're not going into the corners and fighting. We're just not doing any of the things. And so it's not like we're playing our game and we're forechecking and we're going and Vegas is beating us that way. We're just not trying. We're not. If there's a loose puck, yes, Vegas is moving their legs and they're getting to the puck first, but it's not even close. We're not even competing. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Vegas is outplaying us, but we're playing like dog shit. We're not even making them work hard for it. And after game 1, I thought, I mean, who didn't think that we were going to come out tonight and at least have a better showing? But the level of incompetence all over the ice is staggering. I mean, did the moment get too big for these guys all of a sudden? Or did they all just suddenly start believing that they were the team of destiny and they were the big bad Panthers? It's enough. It's enough. Stu and I be back in the morning, and then I'm going to take the kids fishing tomorrow, and probably going to unplug everything. I don't know what we can say, but I know what I hope Maurice is saying, and that is, I hope he's embarrassed by the effort on the ice tonight. That's what he needs to tell these guys, as he has been saying that he's proud to be associated with these guys. This should not be proud to be associated with these guys, especially after tonight. This was men against boys out there tonight. I'll see you in the morning.